Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Malin Havefjell, and in this video we will take a quick tour on the invoice if you're selling the so-called services RUT and ROT here in Sweden. And the video I will speak in English, but the pictures they will be in Swedish. So I will take a quick tour on an example invoice that actually is an example that the tax agency has on their website, so you can find it there as well. And we're going to just see, okay, what parts do we need to add in our invoice when we are selling these kind of services? So the first thing, as in all invoices, we need to have the name and address of the buyer, something so we know who this buyer is. We also need to have the invoice number and the invoice date. In another course that I have that's called Report VAT, we dig much more deeper into this, how we kind of things we need to have in our invoice. And I have that course both in English and in Swedish. So now we take a look at what's important to have when you have this kind of services as RUT and ROT. And what we're talking about then is that we're perhaps clean houses, or we build things in a private individual's home. And then your customer can get a deduction on the tax for this one. And it's only the deduction for the working time, the working hours, the actual time that you have been there working, that they can get this deduction from. So on the invoice, it's really important that you separate your working hours from the other things that you also will invoice your customers. So first of all, you need to have the amount of hours that you have been working and also the price for your time that you have been working. And then you have the costs for the material and other costs that you might have in regard, it's connected to this kind of service. That can be like you have rented out something for them, and your travel costs, going back and forth to them, things like that. And then you need to have the total amount of the invoice and also the amount for the RUT and ROT deduction. And here it's important that you have this amount inclusive the VAT. And just because of other rules, you also need to have the basis for you to calculate the VAT. And then you need to have information on what kind of service that you have performed, that you have done for your customer, and property, which kind of property was this, the identity of the property where you have been doing the work. And you also need to have your client's identity number or social security number on the invoice, because these are information that you need to tell the tax agency when you apply for the money to get back. And you also need to have the information that you are approved for the F-tax, and of course information about you as the seller, name and address to you, your organization number. And not for the tax agency to know, but for your customers, it's also important to tell your customers how to pay to you. So just a quick little summary. I will take this in Swedish. Så på fakturan så måste du ha det totala beloppet för RUT och ROT-avdragets storlek. Och det beloppet ska du räkna ut med moms, alltså inklusive moms. Sen är det också viktigt att du separerar de här kostnaderna för den arbetade tiden, eftersom det är den arbetade tiden som man sedan ansöker om det här avdraget för den här skattereduktionen. Och på fakturan så kan du också då såklart ha materialkostnader och andra övriga kostnader. Vissa väljer att separera det här i helt olika fakturor, men du kan ha det på samma faktura. Det viktiga här är alltså att du separerar, att det går att se vilka kostnader som tillhör vad. Sen ska man ha då vilken typ av tjänst som företaget har utfört. Och så en uppgift om att företaget som har utfört det här arbetet, alltså du då, är godkänd för F-skatt. Och sen kundens namn och personnummer, det är de sakerna som är viktiga. Och för att du sen ska kunna ansöka om det här avdraget, så är det reduktionen, så är det också viktigt att du har fastighetsbeteckningen för där du har utfört det här arbetet. This was the quick information, and that you learned a little bit more. You can find all this information at the tax agency's website. And you can, of course, also contact me if you have other questions and you want perhaps some kind of advices. The tax agency never give out advice, they only inform. But if you want to have some kind of advice, how will I do this, what will be the best, and things like that, then you can contact me and book a meeting, of course. And don't forget also to look at my online courses if you want to dig even deeper into what you need to have in your invoice. Hope to see you in the next video again. Bye bye.